Carl Rogers would see this as evidence of the strength of your actualizing tendency, because, as he said, under the most adverse circumstances, you were striving to become. You see your drive, your ingenuity, and your tenacity as evidence of growth. We watched you work hard to sow the seeds of knowledge, cultivate professional identities, bold the weeds of ignorance, excavated heavy boulders of discouragement, stakes, and setbacks. You entwined your roots and interlaced your branches to support each other, to stand tall and strong amidst. There were also days when you basked in the warm glow of insight and achievement, feeling competent and creative, when success had you following the sun with your smiling faces from sunrise to sunset, tracking the blazing path of your dedicated efforts. Class of 2022, like a victory garden, you are a continually changing constellation of potentialities, not a fixed quantity of traits. Your combined toiling yields a landscape of splendid possibilities for the work that you will do. A panoramic portrait of the genetic counselors you are and will still yet become. And that you did it all through a dark and difficult time reflects that you've reaped a bumper crop of rewards from the challenges and hardships of your dream. I wonder, if it's like Carl Rogers, you have come to accept confusion and uncertainty and fear and emotional highs and lows because they are the price you willingly pay for a flowing, perplexing, exciting life. You are each and all together bursting with potentialities, with flowing, perplexing, exciting life. Now it's time to blossom, to disperse into this professional field of ours, to take your bright and bold gifts far and wide, to share them with patients, clients, and colleagues alike, carrying with you the fragrant memory of your time in this garden. Congratulations to you all on your victorious graduation. Ask this time hello. This year, we'd like to recognize Emily Goldberg for her exceptional commitment to teaching in the Joan H. Marks Graduate Program in Human Genetics. Emily was nominated by members of the class of 2022 for her engaging and passionate teaching style in reproductive genetics and embryology. Emily graduated from this program in 2011 and started co-teaching her first course just a few years later. As a genetic counselor at Montefiore Medical Center and most recently J Street, Emily is also involved in the training of medical students, residents, and fellows of genetics. She serves on our admissions committee, has tutored numerous graduates, and has been a friend of the program for many years. All of this to say, and not so subtly, that we hope you all get involved in the training of genetic counseling students at Sarah Lawrence as soon as possible. Students describe Emily as a super supportive and very knowledgeable instructor. She brings her clinical experience into the classroom through case examples that make very difficult material relatable and accessible. She is always available to answer questions and works diligently to ensure understanding. On a personal note, I must add that Emily is funny. She has a sharp sense of humor that livens up any learning environment. I am grateful for her friendship and hope we get to work together for many years to come. Please join me in congratulating Emily Goldberg. And I'd like to welcome Michelle Pina, our Genetic Counseling Education Fellow.
It is my honor to present the AGCTD Outstanding Field Supervisor Award, which recognizes One supervisor's excellence and dedication to fieldwork training. For any friends and family who may not be familiar, genetic counseling fieldwork supervisors play a crucial role in guiding our students as they work to apply the knowledge they gain in classes and hone their genetic counseling skills. Our supervisors welcome our students into their workplace, and over the course of several weeks, they both model the to be a competent genetic counselor and also provide crucial feedback to the students to foster improvement and self-reflection, all while ensuring quality patient care. Outstanding genetic counseling supervisors create a safe and positive working alliance and learning environment for students. They skillfully assess a student's learning style and skill level and tailor their approach to their supervision. They offer insight and foster discussions about ethical and legal aspects of genetic counseling. They serve as role models for our students, and the best genetic counseling supervisors inspire students to be themselves. I'm extremely excited, but not surprised, that this year's recipient of the Outstanding Fieldwork Supervisor Award is Simone Schneider. Her dedication to mentorship was clear to me and my classmates when we were in our first year of graduate school. Simone proved to be a kind and approachable secretary for us, offering advice and guidance in your learning. Her commitment to become an excellent genetic counselor was clear, but her patience and dedication to support our growth was astounding. Even to her peers, Simone was a role model. After receiving her Master of Science in Human Genetics from Carolina College in 2022, Simone has been practicing as a board-certified genetic counselor at NYC Health and Hospital, Medical Center in North Carolina, where she now supervises our genetic counseling students and inspired them to become outstanding supervisors themselves. Students who recently trained with Simone had an abundance of wonderful words to describe her impact of the training. I selected a couple to share with you today to get a sense of Simone's outstanding supervision. Simone is an incredibly dedicated supervisor. She takes the time to collaborate with us on our learning, and she consistently supports us, challenges us, and validates us as genetic counselors, students, and as people. She helped me grow my confidence in working with patients, in working with other providers, and in working with genetic testing laboratories. I'm incredibly grateful to have had the opportunity to have Simone as my supervisor during my time at Sarah. And Simone was the most instrumental supervisor in my training career. She gave me the space to explore my own counseling style and supported me developing my confidence within it. Without her teaching and her support, I would not be at the place I am now. I will never forget my training and experience with Simone. So with that, please join me in congratulating and celebrating Simone Schneider as this year's recipient of the Outstanding Supervisor. To invite back the general director for the presentation of the next board.
I am honored to present this next award for innovative practice, established just last year to recognize program collaborators who advance novel teaching strategies in genetic counseling. Since the summer of 2020, this individual has dedicated hundreds of hours to educating genetic counseling students at all stages of their training. They have created a safe and supportive learning environment where students are encouraged to practice and play with their unique counseling styles. Although not a genetic counselor by training, this person has helped students navigate the complexities of genetic counseling case management, and even more importantly, what clients might feel and understand about their encounters. They have drawn on their vast experience as a simulated patient to debrief and give advice that allows for continuous improvement of our simulated patient program at Carolina. And for that, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to Renee Flores. Renee is watching from home, so we'll just give her a wave and we'll mail her her certificate. Next, I'd like to invite Janelle Villiers, Assistant Director.
name is Janelle Villiers, and as Lisa said, I'm one of the assistant program directors here at Sarah Lawrence. And I'm excited to introduce to you today our keynote speaker. Barbara Harrison graduated with a bachelor's degree in biology from the University of Maryland College Park and received a master's degree in genetic counseling from the University of Pittsburgh. She is a certified genetic counselor by the American Board of Genetic Counselors and currently serves on its board of directors. She is an assistant professor at Howard University and teaches graduate students, medical students, and medical residents in various specialties in areas of genetics, genetic testing, genetic counseling, and ethics. In addition to her academic duties, she provides genetic counseling services at Howard University Hospital for a variety of referral reasons, primarily in prenatal genetic counseling. She is also the assistant director for community outreach and education for the Howard University Center for Sickle Cell Disease. Professionally, she has served as the director of the genetic counseling program at Howard University, and currently she serves on the All of Us Genetic Counseling Resource Advisory Board, the Alliance for Genetics and Genomics Diversity Advisory Group, and several other advisory committees. In line with her passion to increase the diversity of genetic counselors, Barbara is a member of the Minority Genetics Professional Network and founder of GOLDEN, which stands for the Genetics Opportunities, Learning, Development, and Empowerment Network, which is dedicated to increasing the number of Black genetic counselors by raising awareness and mentoring prospective counselors. She was recently awarded the 2020 NSGC Natalie Weisenberg Fall National Achievement Award, the National Society of Genetic Counselors' most distinguished honor. In the 2021 NSGC conference, she was the speaker for the Janus Plenary Lecture, where she gave a lecture called "You Can Never Feel My Pain: The History and Future of Sickle Cell Disease," where she gave an outstanding and in-depth analysis of the past and current management and research for sickle cell disease. You can watch her most recent interview with the renowned geneticist Dr. Rick Kittles on the African Ancestry Experience on YouTube, where she discussed how the Black Panthers influenced sickle cell disease legislation in the United States. And among her many publications, her most recent came out only 5 days ago on May 4th in the Journal of Genetic Counseling, entitled "Assessing Barriers to the Career Ladder and Professional Development for Ethnic Minority Genetic Counselors in the United States." In her community, Barbara volunteers with the Sickle Cell Association of the National Capital Area and is an active member of the Metropolitan Baptist Church in Louisville. It is my distinguished honor to present to you someone I am personally proud to call my colleague, ally, and friend, our keynote speaker, Barbara Harrison.
So good afternoon, everyone. It's so good to see everyone this afternoon. Thank you so much. So I want to definitely welcome the graduates, number one, esteemed faculty, parents, and friends to our event today. I'm honored to join you as we celebrate the Joan H. Marks Graduate Program in Human Genetics at Sarah Lawrence College, class of 2022. One of your fellow Brycons, which people don't know that it's the mascot for Sarah Lawrence. So one of your fellow Brycons, author and poet Ross Gay, who received his master's in poetry here in 1996, penned these words: "We all know that nothing happens only when it happens. Indeed, you are not here by chance. Rather, you have put in the work to be here today and are about to launch into your next chapter. You're not here by chance, and we want to make sure that you do the work beyond now, into the next chapter." Less than 7% of the US population has a graduate degree, and we know that the choice to become a genetic counselor is not one selected by you. So you have already chosen a road less traveled. We've arrived here by different paths and through different challenges. Some are first-generation college students. Some may be the first to achieve an advanced degree. Some have had to balance personal, family, and life situations during their academic pursuits. And others have had to overcome discrimination, bias, and systems that were not designed for them to succeed.
My question to you now is what happens next? What is going to be your next step? What is going to be the impact that you have on your family, on your community, in your profession, and in society, now that you've achieved this milestone? Many of you have already planned what will happen over the next few months. A new job, which I'm sure your parents and families are happy. That's amazing. Continued schooling, or maybe a break to tend to your own needs or those of your family. But regardless of that next chapter that you're walking into, you must always think about your purpose and what is the impression that you want to make. As I stand here in the literal birthplace of genetic counseling, it is not lost on me that alumni from this program have had a significant role in the initiation, continuation, and development of this field that we all dearly cherish. In fact, the first students graduated from Sarah Lawrence Genetic Counseling Program the year that I was born, which yes, that means I'm old. And over 1,000 counselors have graduated from this program. Alumni from Sarah Lawrence have had a tremendous influence over the direction of the field of genetic counseling. And although we acknowledge that that course has not always been perfect, we have dedicated ourselves to expanding the field so that it's better than how we found it. This is the legacy that you are now charged to continue. With this in mind, I wanted to share some thoughts on how we can individually and collectively benefit the field from our place and action in it. As I searched for a way to organize my remarks, I leaned on the basics, our beloved DNA. Now, I will not get all scientific on you. The students have certainly had enough of that for now, and I don't want to bore everyone else. But I'll just explain that DNA is made of building blocks. And we have given those building blocks names that have the initials A, T, G, and C. As I think about the attributes that we need to build on to maximize our impact, I'm going to highlight 4 of them that parallel these building blocks in DNA. So I'll first start with A for advocacy. When I entered the field of genetic counseling in 1995, it was a time when many health professionals were not familiar with how genetic counseling would benefit their patients. I had the pleasure of working with a genetic counselor, Ms. Alana Midden, who had written a grant to establish genetic counseling services at Howard University. Although interestingly, Howard had a genetic counseling training program since 1980, which was overseen by one of my dear mentors, Dr. Bill. Within a few years, we had established pretty good prenatal genetic counseling service. However, cancer genetics was a burgeoning area of practice that was not embraced as quickly. Many oncologists at Howard were quite hesitant to consider cancer genetic testing, with concerns that the ancestral populations of individuals served by our institution at Howard University had been historically left out of genetic studies. And this would lead to results that were often what we call non-informative or quite limited. However, as a trained genetic counselor, I embrace the thought that although there may be limitations, this did not seem right to me to refrain from offering this testing. And along with other genetics faculty, we push for genetic counseling to be offered to patients as indicated by family history and other factors. In addition, we took on the responsibility to change the narrative and initiate cancer genetic studies at Howard to engage these communities and broaden the diversity of study populations. As practitioners in a field that is often misunderstood or unfamiliar to many health professionals, genetic counselors have to be willing to speak up for our patients to ensure that they are not left behind and have access to appropriate services. This is particularly true now as genetic testing becomes more commonplace and the understanding of the genetic causation of disease increasingly provides information critical to the medical management in the realm of personalized medicine. We are on the cusp of novel advances in disease management, and we are uniquely positioned to help individuals and families understand Next is T for transformation. One of my mentors who recently retired from Howard, Dr. Georgia Johnson, often talks about genome and talks about the genome in a spiritual context. In short, as our knowledge of genetics expands, it is obliterating centuries-old notions of what humankind is purported to be, separated into races and artificially constructed groupings. Instead, as the mysteries and complexities of the genome reveals itself, our understanding of how we are related to each other, not just biologically, but also in terms of our creation and existence on Earth, will also be discovered. As genetic counselors, we stand in the midst of and need to be open to this transformative process. Although genetic counseling practice was built on the premise of being client-centered and valuing autonomous decision-making, we must acknowledge that we are not immune from the flawed ideas and societal missteps that have influenced genetic research and the practice of genetic medicine. We must therefore be intentional in our efforts to reform and advance genetic counseling strategies to fully embrace the broad scope of diverse family systems, cultural values, and patient needs. Further, we must push our research colleagues to fully adopt strategies such as community-engaged research so that we can be an active part of the transformation that the human genome promises to bring. The third is G for genuineness. Just this past Wednesday, the death toll from COVID-19 surpassed a grim milestone of 1 million in the United States. Undoubtedly, almost everyone here knows someone who has succumbed to this devastating infection, and some of us have lost several people dear to us. To the graduates specifically, your graduate school journey was deeply impacted by the pandemic. Interviews for genetic counseling programs were disrupted and suddenly shifted from in-person to virtual platforms that we only had limited experience with and caused additional strain to an already stressful situation. You started your schooling when you were in the depths of social distancing, with almost everyone who was able to having to operate from the isolation of our homes. Your first year was largely limited to virtual classes and remote clinical rotations. You had limited in-person access to each other and were forced to bond over Zoom gatherings and social media. You may have had to grieve losing loved ones alone and or went through the trials of graduate school without the hugs and physical presence from those in your support system. However, you survived and you made it through to be here today. And for that, you should be celebrated. Literally, no one else has been through what you have been through these past 2 years. However, one way that we changed during the pandemic is that we learned more about our true selves. In isolation, we were forced to be with ourselves, to be honest about what was important to us, what worked for us, and what we did not. It also taught us the importance of self-care, as we eventually had to close our laptops, turn off our phones, and figure out how to de-stress while processing traumatic events. And this helped us to find our authentic selves, our most powerful selves, our genuine selves. And as you enter the workforce, to forge your way into this field, stay true to yourself. As Yoko Ono said, you change the world by being yourself. Don't chase an impossible, perfect version that you think is out there. Perfection does not exist. It's only a way to distract you from being who you are destined to be. Instead, find your passion, your niche, and run with it as you seek to carry on the legacy of those who have gone through this program. Lastly, C is for compassion. Many of you are familiar with the recent efforts in the area of diversity, equity, inclusion, and justice, not only in genetics and genetic counseling, but in many aspects of our society. Specifically regarding the genetic counseling field, myself, along with many of my friends and colleagues of color, have shared our experiences of feeling isolated, devalued, and our perspectives unappreciated. Part of the frustration that has been voiced is that a main tenet of genetic counseling is respect for others and an emphasis on the appreciation of diversity of experience, particularly regarding our patients. However, this positive regard does not seem to be extended to other genetic counselors. In some cases, the same genetic counselors who would speak with such high regard and respect for patients would turn around and be dismissive to their colleagues if they were different from them. If we are to move forward as a field, we must change this narrative, and that change starts with each of us. As Maya Angelou said, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. We need to keep this in mind, not only when we work with our patients and clients, but also with our colleagues. If you witness someone in your workplace being minimized or being the subject of a microaggression, speak up. Let them know that you're an ally for them and are willing to leverage your privilege to support them. Be compassionate and thoughtful to those around you, and be purposeful in your actions to be inclusive. These actions alone will raise our field, and diversity is a necessary component of excellence. So if we want to achieve excellence in our field, we must invite, include, and value the diversity of voices that represent genetic counselors as well as our patients. So I encourage you to take these words with you: advocacy, transformation, genuineness, and compassion, and commit to having a positive impact on our beloved field of genetic counseling. We don't have a Hippocratic oath like physicians, but I would like to engage you in an oath of sorts, a promise to, as you move through your career, to make the field better than you found it. So I want all of the graduates to please stand. So to do this, I have 5 challenge statements. And if you accept them, I want you to shout, "I will," after each one. Don't leave me hanging. So number 1, I challenge you to believe in yourself and not compare yourself to others. What is meant for you will be for you in the time that it was meant to happen. I challenge you to not be comfortable with where you are, but to instead always strive to be better, because there is always another level. I challenge you to set boundaries for yourself. One never operates optimally when they are overextended. Push yourself, but don't take on more than you can effectively handle. I challenge you to love yourself in the moments when you're disappointed with yourself, to engage in self-care during those moments, to understand that you are worthy, and that out of setbacks comes lessons. Out of setbacks come lessons to achieve success. And lastly, I challenge you to speak up for yourself and what you believe in, even when your voice tremors, because that's often the signal that you are speaking in your passion space. Wonderful. Welcome you as my colleagues to the personhood of genetic counseling. As the motto for Sarah Lawrence College is wisdom with understanding, I pray that you will use the knowledge that you have gained over the past 2 years to understand and put into action positive change for your community and our society. I'm excited to see your next steps. Congratulations.
Hello, everyone. I'm Nisha. I'm Director of Student Engagement. And today, I had the honor to present the Ripken Family Prize for Human Genetics, which is a prize awarded each year to a student in the Human Genetics program, whose work reflects excellence, fire, passion for the subject. This year, the Ripken Family Award goes to Laura Hastings. I would like to say a few words about. Okay. So for the past 2 years, while attending John H. Mark's graduate program in Human Genetics, Laura is acknowledged by her peers and her instructors alike to have demonstrated this fire and this passion for the profession of genetic counseling. And she has done so not only through her classwork, but through her actions. Laura is generally the first person to volunteer, to come forward and share her clinical experience with her classmates, support them, ask questions, provide answers, and get a discussion started. She has also engaged in programs that expand upon above her training as a genetic counselor, programs such as LAND, which stands for Leadership Education in Neurodevelopmental and with Disability program, as well as in the Genetics and Education program at the Bedford Women's Correctional Facility. Her dedication to the profession also extends to championing and promoting this profession through social media for those interested in entering the field. In a conversation I had with Laura way back, what came to light is a unique perspective for those who may not have a voice due to a disability or other circumstances. And in undertaking a thesis topic, which explores the potential utility or role of pediatric genetics in medicine, in the management of children in foster care, she demonstrates the novel ways in which medical genetics can potentially be applied to benefit the lives of those children. Congratulations, Laura. It is really a pleasure. I'd like to invite Laura Ursher, Director of Student Research.
Wow, big group. So I'm here, as you probably know, to give out the prize for the best thesis poster, sorry, as decided by our esteemed panel of judges. But I would like to say first that I'm inordinately proud of the entire work output represented here for all of our students. Particularly, it's my job to keep that, but I've never actually said this before. Which is that I'm really glad I was not a judge this year, because there were so many posters I would like to honor. There really were. It's just terrific, and so many of them reflected not only good research habits and the projects, but like passion from the part of our students. And that's incredibly moving to me to see you put your passion into this part of your work. Okay, some more suspense. And, oh yeah, that's a lot more. So the winner is an incredibly timely project, and I know that impacted everybody looking at it, and something that's going to affect genetic health. And this project started off a little different and moved to meet the moment. So I'm very proud to give this award to Grace Getchell and Sophia Boren.
Of aiding and abetting perspectives on the effects of restrictive legislation
In the final days of Roe, also bringing me to tears. Thank you. Come on up.
All right, we've now come to the part of our program where we get to present to you the flowers of our victory garden. And by that I mean presentation of the graduates. As is custom, we play a little game here. I'm going to read to you the description of each graduate and give you just half a second to guess perhaps who it might be. Yeah, it's a fun one. Digitalis purpurea, the foxglove. This person is poised and mature, casually giving off royalty vibes. She is unfailingly patient and perpetually inquisitive. Like foxglove, this person regulates the heartbeat of the cohort, steadying its pulse into an even pace of understanding and compassion, though occasionally helping it to skip a beat by silently giggling in her Zoom box. Robin White, yes! There she is. We'll also ask that each graduate come up to receive their gift. Coreopsis tinctoria, the plains coreopsis. This person considers unimagined and unexplored perspectives, extracting new insights and sharing them in artfully crafted language. Her drive is resistant to droughts of energy and inspiration. She keeps a cool head and maintains deep awareness and passion when challenges arise. This person brings bold, bright, intriguing thoughts to our shared conceptual landscape and grounds us in a naturalistic reality. Catherine Niemeyer, what a try. Tell her which flower she was. This is an accident. Matches. Wonderfully done. Synthiotrichum novi Anglii, the New England aster. Like this plant, which she could no doubt nurture to thrive, as she does many of its fellows. This person is salt tolerant, or rather a bit salty herself, with skillful sarcastic humor. She is intensely hardworking, resourceful, and perpetually helpful to others, particularly when circumstances might seem unfavorable or harsh. Though spiky like her hedgehog, she is bursting with pointed ideas, quips, and clever inputs. Emily Odo, well done! Lobelia cardinalis, the cardinal flower. This person is strikingly bright, positive, hilarious, and fun. Her energy is always high, manifesting as effervescent, bubbly, cheering charisma that lures others like hummingbirds to be revived by her verve. Just as the flowers hearken joy, she is most likely to be found where the party is, because she is the party. Bold, direct, clear-sighted, and driven ever onward and upward to the future, Chelsea Miller. Nymphia odorata, the water lily. This person's calm and soothing presence suggests strong roots and deep waters. She is thoughtful and considerate, providing a supportive platform for others to share their stories. She is organized, diligent, and expansive in her thoughts and deeds, always keeping our heads above water. She provides encouragement and a lift to everyone that she meets. Caitlin Mowat. Chicorium intivus, the chicory root. This person is a quick thinker with a unique perspective that invigorates every conversation. She has a way of suggesting that a new adventure is just around the corner, if only we could view the opportunity a little bit differently. It's as if she were a coffee substitute, given how thought-provoking, engaging, and energizing her contributions are. She potentiates big ideas and sharpens them with humor and zest, and no small amount of stylish fashion. Tina Kim, a job well done. Leucanthemum vulgare, the oxeye daisy. Like this most popular bloom, this person is destined to spread online to internet celebrity fame. She's a creative, quirky, original thinker, a fiery spirit who is continually connecting, communicating, crocheting. She is authentic and relatable, genuine and funny, immensely generous. She helps others by sharing insight in a smile, or maybe notes or Quizlets. Somehow she just knows what you need to get by and get better. Laura Cooper Hastings. Curcuma longa, turmeric. This person is unlikely to sugarcoat the struggle, but she will easily repair the damage it causes. In fact, she not only identifies the mutation, she just goes right ahead and fixes it before it gets out of control. She is perhaps the most humble genius among us, helping us to learn through laughter. Unflappable, with a quiet confidence, she sees the positivity in everything and persists with unrelenting motivation, calm, and kindness. Tina Tran, an excellent Ginkgo biloba, the ginkgo. This person, with her commitment and drive, boosts our collective brain health with her many gifts and talents. To sharpen minds and soften hearts, she asks insightful and incisive questions, shares extensive knowledge and baked goods, draws on endless kindness to uplift others, and drops everything for a friend in need. Indeed, she helps us to trust and to believe in the goodness of others and the rightness of our own present selves, fostering the making of meaning through her good actions. Yakira Vegan, many others. Primula vulgaris, the primrose. The primrose is known to ease heartache. This person too reliably makes those around her feel at ease, welcome, included, and whole. She herself has a heart 3 sizes too big, Like the Grinch at the end of the story, not cardiomegaly. She shares this heart unreservedly by being genuine, kind, open, selfless, and considerate to everyone she meets. Taylor Silky. Melaleuca alternifolia, the tea tree. This is a person who is so easy to talk to, you forget the frustrations and irritations of life. She smooths out the bumps and difficulties by being an insightful problem solver, applying deep dedication to access and equity as she seeks solutions. She's a trustworthy confidant, considerate and inclusive of all perspectives and experiences, a strong listener, an amazing teacher. She moves us all to better learning with her kind-hearted smile and many talents. Talia Belcher. Echinacea ligata, the coneflower. This person, like the floral namesake, cures any and all that ails you. With natural warmth and good vibes, she sinks all her energy and goodwill into each new moment, each interaction, to the benefit of those who have the good fortune to know her. Like the California sky, she has a sunny disposition, no doubt enhanced by the many funny genes for which she is a manifesting carrier. Grace Amelia Getchell. Lavandula spica, lavender. This person immediately relieves stress with her ever so chill, quiet, friendly demeanor. She brings a grounding presence and reflective attitude to each encounter with a smile that lowers all anxiety. Beneath the calm exterior lies a spring of conscientiousness and a deep well of creativity anchored in strong principles. Abigail Kosman. Pisum sativum, the garden pea. Like the favored plant of Gregor Mendel, this person makes the inscrutable obvious by converting observation into wisdom. Her disruptive intelligence is matched by her patient perseverance. She carefully considers all facets and calmly attends to the laborious work of interpreting their significance. She is productive and hardworking, trustworthy in her pursuit of knowledge, truly the pinnacle of professionality. She is sensitive and aware of others. Her thoughtfulness has no end. Mackenzie Fawn, what do you say? Zeta Mace, sweet corn. This person can add inches in a single day. If you listened, you could hear it grow. So said Laura Ruby about this plant. She hypes up everyone, shines a brilliant light on each class and every conversation. She needs plenty of room to stretch to the sky and out to others with her generous, outgoing, and magnetic personality. As the breaker of all awkward silences, she's the best at creating conversations worth having and has a huge heart and high energy for every day. Sophia. Chimerian angustifolium, fireweed. This person is the first to jump into the fray, to raise her hand, to sign up, to join, to begin. She's adaptable and, like this plant, paves the way for others to grow and thrive in especially difficult circumstances. She gets us going, bringing opportunities and people together. She is super helpful, enthusiastic, curious, and knowledgeable, yet also chill, relaxed, a great listener, and a forever friend. Erica Rankus. Matricaria chamomile. Both this flower and this person have calming powers and will lull you into a state of absolute relaxation. This person is hardworking, sensitive, and kind with a sweet disposition. She is humble, balanced, and dependable, yet also an absolute boss with many layers. She has a joyful spirit and is a thoughtful friend. Haley Madison Metzger. Mentha balsamina, peppermint. She is sweet, generous, compassionate, and kind. Like the plant, her company reduces pain and discomfort of those around her. She has a refreshing perspective full of optimism and empathy for others. She is charming and strong, always genuine in the very definition of friendship. Revati Suresh, many congratulations. Solanum tuberosum, the potato. She has been named the best thing to ever come out of Idaho and matches the versatility and dependability of this garden staple. She is genuine, energetic, and helpful. She is resourceful, never one to pass a hot potato on to someone else. She is unafraid and addresses challenges head on until a solution is found. She never gives up and follows her passion wherever it may lead. Lila Staney, well done. I'm sorry, Lila, I couldn't help it. It was too good. Cinnamomum cassia, cinnamon. This person ensures there's no sugarcoating, instead preferring to spice up the discussion with sharp truths. Perhaps it's not so much what she says, though she gives excellent advice, but how she says it that makes it easy to digest. She is genuine and warms you up with her wit and whimsy. She mixes well with apples, mostly, and is even keeled like a well-spiced cider. Like a natural protectant, she keeps things from bugging you. Caroline McCrae, what a pleasure. Monarda fistulosa, wild bergamot. This person is a pure delight with her unique combination of hilarity and sarcasm. Like this firecracker of a bloom, she is exploding with vivacity, caring, and openness. She is collaborative, resourceful, inclusive, and direct. She puts it all out there for honesty's sake. She knows what she wants and what's right and isn't afraid to say so. Confident and cool with an unimpeachable strength, Miriam Sang, congratulations. Salvia officinalis, sage. This plant is known to improve memory and has the ability to save. So too does this person, who can save you from ignorance and failure with the great insights derived from her brilliant knowledge, made the more expansive by her diligent commitment to learning. She's secretly the smartest person in a class who will always want to help and find new ideas and perspectives. She has a serene demeanor and treats everyone with equal kindness. Celine Grace Aziz. Capsicum annulum, cayenne. This person brings fire to each conversation she joins. She's willing to speak up and speak out. She's unfailingly inquisitive and scientific in her analysis. She's hunting the truth and will most certainly not stop until she's found it. She's strongly motivated, dedicated to perpetual learning, and loves inviting others to join her on the journey to new ideas and pursuits. Christina C., ever so well done. Zingiber officinale, ginger. This person, like this plant, will keep you steady and restore you to rights if you're feeling discombobulated or adrift. She's funny and brave, offering a perennial friendliness to all. She's brutally honest, never pulling punches, and always offering a shoulder to cry on if and when it hurts to face reality. She has a zest and a zing to her that helps reinvigorate those who are stressed and worn down. Tari Nicole Little. Thank you. Salvia rosemarinus, rosemary. This plant will clear the sinuses and enable you to breathe freely. Similarly, this person is a breath of fresh air and will encourage you to take the deep breath you so sorely need to face the next moment. She encourages mental well-being in self and others. She's down to earth, funny, easy to be with, and helps us all to find calm or maybe a party amid chaos. Natalie Label, congratulations. Congratulations, class of 2022. Good afternoon, families, faculty, and genetic counselors. Yeah. My name is Grace.
And my name's Sophia.
And we are thrilled to be speaking with you today. Our friendship blossomed through our work together on Thesis.
Thanks, Laura.
And because people have a habit of not being able to tell us apart. It's probably because we both have good genes. But we know our special bond is nothing unique in our cohort, as our class has truly embodied what it means to be inclusive and kind, with friendships shared between everyone. And although many of us are moving away from New York and we will be working all across the country, we feel so lucky to know that we have 24 other genetic counselors who are just a call away. Whether it's to discuss a difficult case, commiserate over CEUs, or just to relive these glory days of grad school, there is something especially wonderful about our class dynamic. Perhaps we became so close because we only had 1 year with our classmates in New York and realized how much more enjoyable it is to talk to someone in person rather than feel like you're speed dating over Zoom. Speaking of speed dating, our closeness was most likely initiated by the PowerPoint parties we threw at the beginning of the first year to get to know each other better. It also prepared us for the many presentations we would give in embryology, pediatrics, medical genetics, case conferences, and more. One of my favorite memories is working with our pods during the virtual year where we were able to complete projects and practice our skills through role plays. For those of you that don't know, role plays, where one person is the patient and the other is the genetic counselor, was a pillar for our foundational genetic counseling skills. When playing the patient, some of us even went a bit too far when developing a backstory.
I think that was just you.
Sorry, thank you. Both in and out of class, I know I speak for everyone when I say we feel so grateful to have been together these past 2 years. We have challenged each other, we have laughed with each other, and most importantly, we have learned with and from one another. And I wholeheartedly believe we will continue to do so for the rest of our careers.
Our classes have taught us so much about genetic counseling and have set us up to be successful genetic counselors. And we have no doubt that our class is going to make such an impact on this field. We also have no doubt that we will use this knowledge we learned in class to diagnose ourselves, friends, and family with approximately 3 genetic conditions each. We've realized that many other themes emerged from this virtual first year that can be applied to our growth as genetic counselors. We learned to never judge a book by its cover, by realizing that some of our classmates we thought would be tall were in fact not tall at all. We also learned that it's fair to assume that no matter the mode of genetic counseling, telehealth or in person, there will always be some tidbit of ambiguity, and we know that Claire will be there to ask us how we feel about it.
The only feeling better than starting graduate school is finishing graduate school. And although the sense of relief and excitement is overwhelming, it's tinged with the bittersweet emotions of leaving the structure and comfort that we have in our Sarah Lawrence community. Many of us are feeling mixed emotions about graduating, and for many, it probably hasn't even sunk in yet. But knowing that we will always have each other to turn to has made these jitters bearable. We want to take a moment to thank everyone that helped us in our journeys to become genetic counselors. Our teachers, supervisors, mentors, and anyone else we may have missed. We appreciate all the time and dedication you've devoted to helping us these past 2 years. The program is what it is because of the people that lead it. Michelle, thank you for guiding us through clinical rotations. It can't be an easy job. Radhika, for destroying us with your exams, but keeping us smiling while you do it. Chantal, for always being collected and keeping us calm. Janelle, for pushing us to be the best that we can be. Laura, for challenging us to think differently while simultaneously making us laugh. Lindsay, for being the glue that holds us all together. Claire, for always being there for us and for always chuckling at our jokes. But most importantly, we wanted to thank our friends and family, those here in person, on Zoom, and those who couldn't make it today. We truly could not have done this without you. Your support for us in school and in life has made us into the people that we are today and the genetic counselors that we are about to be. Thank you again, and congratulations, everyone. We did it!
I have no idea what I'm gonna say. I'm sorry. Graduations are always a weird mix of hello and goodbye. My job today is goodbye, but it's still hello. Hello to this crop of new genetic counselors and welcome to the field. This is a wonderful place to work. It's a wonderful place to work because it's interesting, it's cool, because the things that you hear, you know, it's intellectually never dull. You will never get bored. You may get tired of keeping up, but you will never get bored. But even more so, because you are being welcomed into a field of people who are incredibly kind. And so look, you've heard all afternoon about how this is the pandemic class. And oh my goodness, I have been thinking for weeks about those moments of interviews in 2020. Here we were. The epicenter of the pandemic was in New Rochelle, less than a mile away from this campus. People were still willing to come, but they didn't shut it down fast enough. And, yeah. I thought, okay, you know, here we're my beloved city, my beloved vibrant city had refrigerator trucks full of bodies in the streets. And I thought, everyone's gonna back out because it's crazy to come here, right? In April, this is mimic incision. And I think Janelle would know 2 people who were quickly, you guys all showed up. And I'm really, from the bottom of my heart, it was a brave and wonderful thing to do. Bet on yourself, you bet on us, and you made it through. And the thing I really want to point to today, everyone's like, yeah, you've done all the simulated things and all that stuff. But here's the thing that's amazed me for 2 years about this group. You had every right to feel put upon by what the world was throwing at you. The pandemic and every other thing, right? It just kept getting tougher. And you were incredibly spirited in this sort of like, well, we're just gonna get through this together. Every moment of 2 years, I have felt that coming back to you. You guys sent us notes halfway through saying, thank you. We know this is hard for you. This is hard for me. I'm here all the time. This is incredibly hard for you guys. And your empathy towards them, we'll never forget it. How you helped us help you get through all the extra challenges of this last few years. And more than all of your scores and all of your results and everything that's wonderful, more than that, I know that's what's going to make you successful as genetic counselors. because you're gonna look at people in some of the most difficult moments in their life and find a way to help them. And not make it, your problem and respond to them. And that's really the best thing you could say about genetic counselors and this group that has taken that to a very extreme degree. They want everyone to be comfortable. They want everyone to feel included. They want everybody here at our table. And so, in my goodbye, I'll miss you guys personally. We talk about how much we'll miss you guys as a group. And I really look forward to seeing you out there in the world as genetic counselors. And please stay in touch.
That really was the end. I have nothing further to add. It was so nice to see everybody. Congrats again.
She's like,
Great.
did you know